Well, it's the third week of Advent. It's Gaudete Sunday. That means to rejoice because Christmas is almost here. So you're doing your time of prayer and fasting, preparing. But the church just says, just a reminder, Jesus has already come. He's already here with you. He's already ready. So rejoice. But liturgically, we continue to prepare for the celebration of his coming at Christmas. If you're like me, sometimes you forget which one's Lautere Sunday and which one's Gaudete Sunday, right? Because one's during Christmas, one's during Advent, one's during Lent. And so I figured it out, was that Lautere Sunday is in Lent. So that leaves only Gaudete, so that must be the one that we're doing in Advent. So, all right, good. Okay. Let's see. Before I do kind of just the main theme, which hopefully we simple and focused today, just to highlight again the experience of the Mass and the Scriptures so that we can understand who Jesus is and what he's doing. And that's understanding the context of the Old Testament. And a lot of times there's maybe one specific thing that's really what he's doing. Other times there's multiple layers of things that he's doing. And the more that we know about those, the more we know who Jesus is and what he's doing. And the incredible plan that God has had from all eternity as well. So for example, we heard in the prophet Isaiah, this is chapter 35, and Isaiah was writing about 600 years before Jesus, and all these really powerful prophecies. And one of them that he's saying is that when he comes, when the Lord comes, when he comes to save you with vindication and with his strength, and don't be afraid, he says, and the eyes of the blind will be opened, the ears of the deaf will be cleared, the lame will leap. A lame, that means, I know we use that term, a lame means someone who's not able to walk. So it says the lame will leap like a stag, like a horse, then the tongues of the mute will be open and sing, and all kinds of great things. And then in other places it talks about rising from the dead and crowns of everlasting joy. So we've got that. Okay, there's this prophecy. So now we fast forward here. We talked about John the Baptist early last week. Now we're thinking about that he's a little bit further in the ministry, and he's already been arrested for proclaiming the truth, and specifically talking to Herod and saying, hey, your marriage isn't lawful. So his wife had him put in prison. But before he was beheaded, he's in prison. And we don't know the context of this, but for whatever reason, he's sending some of his disciples to go to Jesus just to make sure that Jesus is the one that they are expecting and that they're not to expect someone else. And so this is the context. So they send the disciples to Jesus and Jesus' disciples, and they say, are you the one, or are we waiting for someone else? And Jesus responds very clearly. But if we don't know the Scriptures, we don't know the Bible, it might seem like it's not a clear answer. But it actually is a very clear answer. So how does he respond? When John says, are you the one we're waiting for, or is there someone else? And he says, go and tell John what you see and what you hear. He says, the blind regain their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, the poor have the good news proclaimed to them, and blessed is the one who takes no offense at me. So not only from Isaiah 35, but also from other prophecies, especially about the poor having the good news proclaimed to them. I think especially from Isaiah 60, I believe. And so he's just simply saying, he's giving them a very clear answer, right? He's saying, yes, I'm the one you've been waiting for. There's not going to be anyone after me. All the prophecies are being fulfilled in me. All right, so he's saying it. So again, it's a mixture of he's saying it super clearly unless you don't know the context, right? So that's why it was helpful for me. Now again, I didn't know any context. I didn't know all these things. I can't remember the whole Old Testament. So that's why I needed teachers to show this to me and highlight it for me. And the good news is that one of the teachers we have is Holy Mother Church, who gives you the liturgy, right? So you have the first reading, and then you have the gospel reading, and they always point together and show. So at the very least, you got that, plus all the other good teachers like Scott Hahn and Brant Petrie and Dr. John Bergsma, and just a lot of people who are doing what is called typology, how the Old Testament and New Testament go together, and how they reveal that the Old Testament is revealed in the New, and the New Testament is revealed in the Old. So how those work together. So okay, all right, that was a long intro. Everybody got that? That's why we love studying the Bible. right? That's why we love learning about it, because then it starts making sense. And then we also say, oh, and now I know who Jesus is also, right? Now I know who he is and what he says about himself. So it's clear. All right. Now with all that, what I want to focus on is just one small section from Isaiah 35. And this is the part that it is. Your God, he comes to save you. Your God, he comes to save you. And yes, we're preparing for the celebration of Jesus coming as a baby, and that's great. And let's do that. Do that well. And yet the message today is God comes to save you. And that he's still coming to save you. And so whatever your circumstance is, whatever your difficulty is, he's coming. He hasn't forgotten you. He hasn't abandoned you. He's coming. So rejoice. And one of the best things to do to have actual joy is remember all the things that he's already saved you from. Think of all the ways and all the difficulties that God has already gotten you through. Think of all the illnesses you've overcome. Think of all the hardships that you've survived. Think of all the stressful things that ended up working out. All those over and over and over. And so with that in mind, with great hope and faith, we say, okay, and the Lord is coming to save me again. And certainly think of the thousands and thousands of second chances we've had with the Lord because of his forgiveness, right? And he doesn't forgive you begrudgingly. He forgives you joyfully. He is happy to forgive you. That's why he suffered and died, so that he could give you forgiveness. So he comes to save you. So he's already done it thousands of times. But again, just maybe you need to be reminded, he's coming. It's okay. Stay steady, stay faithful to him. He's coming. And this past week, I've been reflecting on birthdays. And the phenomena that I've been thinking about is, I was like, why is it that parents, when they have a child who's going to have a birthday, that the parents like to do something special for them? And they like to have fancy food and maybe go somewhere special or invite some friends over or just have like a special occasion and maybe have some presents. And I was just like, why do parents do that? And the only answer I can think of is they want their children to be happy, right? They want their children to rejoice, to enjoy their life, to enjoy that they're alive, to enjoy moments of joy, right? And I was like, and every parent that I know does that. And I thought, so that's revealing something about our Heavenly Father in his desire for us, right? That he's given us so many gifts and so many graces just because he just wants us to enjoy our life and to be happy. Now there's sad things that happen. Okay, that's true. We're in a broken world. But his goodness and his desire for us to just simply enjoy our life. And, there's nothing more distasteful that maybe if you've ever been to a birthday party for maybe a child and, they spent all the money and they got the presents and they got the cake and they got the family and but the child is just like, I don't like any of this. Right? You ever seen that? Or maybe that was you one year. Like, how awful, right? Ugh. And yet, we have these opportunities of saying thank you to the Lord, rejoicing in the Lord, or we have the opportunity to just look at our own life and be like, this isn't good enough. Yeah. Right? So I know there's disappointments in certain areas, and maybe even a child might have a disappointment. Maybe they really wanted one present and they got 10 other ones instead. Okay. But it's like, are we rejoicing in all that the Lord has given us and all that he continues to give us and all that he's blessed us with? And again, all that he's gotten us through. So he loves you so much. He desires for you to be enjoying your life, right? He created you not only to be with him now, but forever in heaven, but also, I think he's like human parents who just want their kids to be happy and holy. That's true, but to enjoy it, right? So with that, those are just the two main themes to reflect on this Gaudete, rejoicing Sunday, is that the key to our joy is usually gratitude for all that God has done, all that we have. So that brings us great joy. And then also, though, too, in the midst of whatever difficulties we may still have, or in the midst of difficulties we may face at some point, because those happen, that's okay. Again, just kind of the analogy. I remember I had a young friend, one of my best friends when I was little. It was Christmas Day, and and everyone's got the presents and all the fun stuff, and they got some presents, and they were getting the presents, but he was trying to open one of the presents, and he cut his hand pretty bad, and he had to go to the emergency room and get stitches. So even if you're trying to do everything right, there can be disappointments. So, but we don't focus on that, right? The Lord has got great things for you. And again, he's delivered you from so much. He's faithful to you all the time. He's so good. And even in the midst of the difficulties, he's with you. And whatever you're facing, he's coming. He's there already, but he's coming. He's coming to save you. So rejoice. Be at peace and enjoy all that he's done for you. And that's the key. And that's also a really great way to prepare for Christmas. So we thank the Lord for all of his goodness, all of his kindness, and to be at peace and rejoice because he is coming to save you.